According to Matt Law, it is, it's a positive return based on what he has done in his previous job in Bayer Leverkusen. We cannot actually say much about what he has done with Real Madrid, based on the fact that he didn't last on the job and there was more or less like an ego issue than the tactical aspect or the result aspect on the pitch. He was not far off behind Barcelona before he got sacked. Now, there was issues with Vinicius, Mbappe, lot of internal problems at Real Madrid. So it all boils down to ego. So this is a different case entirely. So let's move on. Now, according to Fabrizio, he said Xabi Alonso will be heavily involved in transfer. Let's go again. Xabi Alonso will be heavily involved in transfer strategy at Chelsea. He accepted the job because he was told he would be part of the conversation, part of the planning, picking players' position with the club together. So like I said earlier, this has to be a mutual understanding or a mutual, working hand to hand with Xabi Alonso. The sporting directors would not only decide who comes to the club or who has to be signed. They are going to work with the coach. They are going to hear his ideas on who needs to be signed and so on and so forth. So this, to me, is a positive one, and I am really open to this. Now, let's move on to the next story. Now, according to Sky Sports, Xabi Alonso will be involved in Chelsea's summer transfer business, like the club's managers before. Chelsea are looking to add experience to their squad by signing several ready-made first-team players this summer. I already spoke about him being heavily involved in transfers. Now he has to be signings. He has to be who comes into the club. He has to be experience mixed with youth. You cannot heavily rely on young players who have bright future prospects and not players who are readily made right now to actually achieve what the club wants or the club's aims and objective. If this club must succeed, experience needs to be involved in it. Experienced players needs to be signed. Jonathan Tah was experienced at Bayer Leverkusen. Grimaldo was experienced at Bayer Leverkusen. Xhaka was experienced at Bayer Leverkusen. Majority of the players that was there. Now let's see what Xabi Alonso had to say when he was unveiled. Now, he said, from my conversation with the ownership group and sporting leadership, it is clear we share the same ambition. We want to build a team capable of competing consistently at the highest level and fighting for trophies. You cannot do that with signing this kind of young players. So that's why he has to be heavily involved in signing players as well. And experience is very, very important. Now, let's move on. There's a great talent in the squad and huge potential at the football club. And it will be my great honor to lead it. Now, to focus on the hard work, building and right culture and winning trophies. I am impressed with these first words. I am impressed that he understands what he was brought in for. I am impressed that he understands the level of the club. I am impressed that you understand the structure of the club. I am impressed that you understand the zeal, the goal, and the ambition of this team. Now, these sporting directors need to, for once at least, work for the interest of this club winning something. Work for the interest of this club winning trophies. Work for the interest of this club moving from this point to the next level. Work for the interest of this club challenging for trophies. Work for the interest of this club for challenging the other clubs like Arsenal and Manchester City. They need to be at that level, right? So this is how Chelsea can actually succeed. Now let's see if this ownership have actually learned their mistakes or not. Now, according to Kieran Gill, he said, Chelsea sources say their hiring of Xabi Alonso is evidence of their evolution. And they have learned lessons and acknowledged mistakes have been made amid fan anger. Lime Rizzuno was a harsh lesson. So, Lime Rizzuno was doing well at Strasbourg. Chelsea part ways with Enzo Maresca in January. And instead of the club to actually calm down and think it through on which coach to get, they went in and brought him from Strasbourg. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. But to me, I said it even at the time that he was not ready in terms of experience for Chelsea. They brought him, they gave him a 5 to 6 years contract. It didn't last 5 months complete. Now, that was a harsh one on Lime Senior, because he was not even acting of the job at Strasbourg. They rushed him into the job. Now, and he got sacked after 5 months. They couldn't sack the coach at Strasbourg and return him back. That's Gary O'Neill. So they had to let Lime Senior leave. Now, this was a very, very harsh one on the coach. This was a harsh one on the personality of the coach as well, right? And the club as well. So that was a lesson that I think they must have learned.